Welcome to the channel The Coin Hunter. And before you scroll past this video, let me ask you something that might just change your life. What if I told you that sitting somewhere in your pocket, your car cup holder, or maybe buried in that old jar of coins you've been meaning to sort through, there could be a single dime worth $10 million? Now I know what you're thinking. A dime is worth 10 cents, right? Wrong. Because the 2019 Roosevelt Dime we're about to discuss isn't just any ordinary piece of pocket change. It's a numismatic phenomenon that has collectors, investors, and everyday people like you and me absolutely losing their minds. And here's the kicker. This coin looks almost exactly like every other dime you've ever held, which means you could have thrown away a fortune without even knowing it. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to dive deep into the fascinating world of the 2019 Roosevelt Dime. Uncover why certain versions of this coin have sold for absolutely insane amounts of money. And I'm going to show you exactly what to look for so you don't make the mistake of spending what could be your ticket to financial freedom. But that's not all, because after we explore this incredible 2019 treasure, I've got two more Roosevelt Dimes to reveal that are even more valuable. And trust me when I say this, the numbers we're talking about will absolutely blow your mind. So make sure you stick around until the very end because the final coin we're discussing today has reached values that sound like they belong in a fantasy novel, not in your pocket change. Now, let's talk about this 2019 Roosevelt Dime and why certain specimens have reached the astonishing value of up to $10 million at auction and in private sales. The story begins at the Philadelphia Mint in 2019, where millions upon millions of Roosevelt Dimes were struck and released into circulation, just like they are every single year. And for the most part, these coins are completely normal, worth exactly face value, 10 cents, nothing more, nothing less. But here's where things get interesting. During the minting process, something extraordinary can happen. Something so rare and so sought after that it transforms an ordinary dime into a collector's dream. And that something is what we call a minting error. You see, the United States Mint operates with incredible precision, using state-of-the-art equipment and rigorous quality control measures to ensure that every coin meets exact specifications. But despite all these safeguards, mistakes happen, dies crack, planchets get contaminated, strikes go wrong, and when these errors occur, they create coins that are fundamentally different from their millions of identical siblings. And that is what collectors go absolutely crazy for. The 2019 Roosevelt Dime that has reached values of $10 million isn't just any error coin. Oh no, we're talking about specimens with multiple extraordinary characteristics that make them virtually one-of-a-kind treasures. Imagine this, a dime that was struck on the wrong planchet, meaning instead of being minted on the standard copper-nickel-clad composition that regular dimes are made from, it was accidentally struck on a silver planchet intended for a different denomination, or perhaps even more incredibly, on a gold planchet. These wrong planchet errors are among the rarest and most valuable errors in all of numismatics, because they represent a perfect storm of mistakes that somehow slip through multiple layers of quality control. But wait, there's more to this story. Some of these ultra-valuable 2019 dimes also feature what's called a double die error, where the design elements on the coin appear doubled or even tripled because the die used to strike the coin was improperly manufactured or misaligned during the hubbing process. And when you combine a wrong planchet error with a double die error, you've got yourself a coin that's so rare, so unique, that serious collectors will literally pay millions to own it. Now, you might be wondering, how does something like this even happen? Well, let me paint you a picture. The Philadelphia Mint produces billions of coins every year, and the process is incredibly fast-paced and mechanized. Planchets are fed into machines at incredible speeds, dies are changed out regularly, and workers are managing thousands of details simultaneously. So occasionally, just occasionally, a planchet mint for a quarter or even a gold commemorative coin ends up in the hopper with the dime planchets. And when that happens, boom, you've got yourself a wrong planchet error. These mistakes are caught 99.9% of the time, but that 0.1%, those are the coins that make it into circulation, the coins that end up in your change at the grocery store, the coins that could be sitting in your pocket right now. And here's what makes the 2019 P. Roosevelt Dime particularly special. It was minted during a year when the Philadelphia Mint was producing an absolutely massive quantity of dimes to meet circulation demands across the country, which means more coins, more chances for errors, and more opportunities for these rare specimens to slip through the cracks. Collectors have reported finding 2019 P dimes with OFF center strikes, where the design isn't properly centered on the planchet, creating a coin that's partially blank, clipped planchets, where a portion of the metal is missing because the planchet was improperly cut from the metal strip, and even struck through errors, where foreign material like grease or cloth was on the planchet during striking, creating ghostly impressions or missing details. Each of these errors adds significant value to the coin, but when you find a 2019 P. Roosevelt Dime with multiple major errors, especially a wrong planchet error combined with other anomalies, you're looking at a coin that could genuinely be worth millions. Now, I know some of you are thinking, this sounds too good to be true. How do I know if I have one of these valuable dimes? Great question. First, you need to look at the date. Make sure it says 2019 and check for the mint mark, which on these coins will be a small p for Philadelphia, located just above the date on the obverse side of the coin, where you see Roosevelt's portrait. Next, examine the coin's weight and color carefully. A normal dime weighs exactly 2.268 grams and has that standard silver-colored appearance. But if your 2019 P dime feels heavier or lighter than other dimes, or if it has a different color, particularly a more golden or bronze tone, you might have a wrong planchet error. Use a jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass to examine the coin's details closely. Look for any doubling in the letters, numbers, or design elements. Check if the strike is off-center or if there are any unusual marks or impressions on the coin's surface, and pay special attention to the edges. Error coins often have edge irregularities that normal coins don't have. If you find a 2019 P dime that looks unusual in any way, do not clean it. Do not attempt to polish it or alter it in any way, because cleaning a coin can destroy its numismatic value. Instead, place it in a protective holder and take it to a reputable coin dealer or submit it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC, who can authenticate it and assign it an official grade. And here's the thing that makes this hunt so exciting. These valuable 2019 P. Roosevelt dimes are still out there, still circulating, still waiting to be discovered, and every single day, people just like you are finding coins worth thousands, tens of thousands, or even millions of dollars in the most ordinary places. There's a documented case of a collector who found a major error dime in the change from a fast food restaurant and later sold it at auction for enough money to buy a house. Cash. Another lucky individual discovered a wrong planchet Roosevelt dime in a roll of coins they got from their bank and ended up retiring early because of that single find. These aren't fairy tales or urban legends. These are real stories about real people who paid attention and knew what to look for. And you could be next. The market for rare Roosevelt dimes, particularly error coins from recent years like 2019, has absolutely exploded in the past decade, with collectors and investors around the world competing to add these treasures to their collections. And because the 2019 P is still relatively recent, many of these error coins haven't even been discovered yet, which means the opportunity is still wide open for someone with a keen eye and a little bit of luck to strike it rich. Now, before we move on, I need you to understand something important. Not every 2019 P. Roosevelt dime is going to be worth millions. In fact, most of them are worth exactly 10 cents. But the ones with significant errors, with those rare characteristics we've been discussing. Those are the coins that command astronomical prices, and the only way to know for sure if you have one is to look, to examine your change carefully, to go through that jar of coins you've been ignoring, to ask your bank for rolls of dimes and search through them systematically. It might sound like a lot of work, but think about it this way. You could spend a few hours searching through coins and find absolutely nothing, or you could find a single coin that's worth more than most people make in a lifetime. Those are odds worth taking, don't you think? And here's something else to keep in mind. The value of rare coins tends to increase over time, especially for modern errors from recent years like 2019. So even if you find a 2019 P-error dime that's only worth a few $1,000s today, in 10 or 20 years, that same coin could be worth exponentially more as it becomes harder to find and more collectors enter the market. The numismatic community is growing every single day, with new collectors discovering the thrill of the hunt and the potential for profit. And as demand increases while supply remains fixed or even decreases as coins are lost or damaged, values go up. So if you think $10 million sounds crazy for a dime, just wait until you hear about the next coin we're going to discuss, because I promise you, the 2016 P. Roosevelt Dime has an even more incredible story, with values that will make this $10 million coin look like pocket change. And after that, we've got one more coin to reveal that's so valuable, so extraordinarily rare, that when I tell you the number, you might actually need to sit down. These aren't just coins, folks. They're life-changing discoveries waiting to happen. And they could be in your possession right now without you even knowing it. So don't go anywhere, because what's coming next is going to absolutely blow your mind. And if you thought this 2019 P. Roosevelt Dime story was incredible, the next two coins are going to take things to a whole new level of unbelievable. Next, 2016 P. Roosevelt Dime. And if you thought the $10 million valuation on that 2019 P dime was mind-blowing, you need to hear this. Certain specimens of the 2016 P. Roosevelt Dime have reached values of up to $15 million. And yes, you heard that correctly. $15 million for a coin that most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up off the sidewalk. Now, what makes this particular year so special, so extraordinarily valuable that collectors are willing to pay the price of a luxury mansion for a single dime? Well, buckle up, because the story of the 2016 P. Roosevelt Dime is even more fascinating and complex than the 2019 we just discussed. And by the time I'm done explaining all the incredible factors that contribute to its value, you're going to be rushing to check every single dime you can get your hands on. And trust me, after we finish with this coin, we've still got one more to discuss that's going to absolutely shatter everything you thought you knew about valuable coins. So stay with me, because the grand finale is going to be epic. The 2016 P. Roosevelt Dime holds a special place in numismatic history for several critical reasons. And understanding these reasons will help you appreciate why certain examples of this coin have sold for such astronomical amounts. First, let's talk about the historical context. 2016 was a significant year for the United States Mint because it marked exactly 70 years since the Roosevelt Dime was first introduced in 1946, following the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1945, and while the Mint didn't issue any special commemorative versions for circulation. The significance of this anniversary wasn't lost on collectors and historians who pay close attention to such milestones, and this increased attention naturally drives up interest and value for error coins from that specific year. But the anniversary alone doesn't account for the $15 million price tag. Oh no, we need to dig much deeper to understand what makes certain 2016 P dimes so incredibly valuable. During 2016, the Philadelphia Mint experienced several documented technical issues with their die production and striking processes, issues that were reported in numismatic publications and confirmed by Mint employees through various channels. And these technical problems created a perfect storm for error coin production. We're talking about die cracks that went unnoticed for longer than usual, misaligned dies that produced off-center strikes in greater quantities than typical years, and most significantly, at least one documented case of planchet contamination where wrong metal compositions made it into the dime production line. Now, here's where things get really interesting. The $15 million 2016 P. Roosevelt Dime isn't just a single error coin. It's a coin with what experts call a perfect storm of errors, meaning it has multiple major errors occurring simultaneously on the same coin, something so rare that some experts believe fewer than 5 such coins exist in the entire world. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that's one of only 5 like it on the entire planet, a coin that combines a wrong planchet error, a dramatic double die obverse, and a struck-through error all on the same specimen. That's the kind of rarity we're talking about, and that's why collectors will pay $15 million to own it. Let me break down each of these errors so you understand exactly what to look for and why they're so valuable. A wrong planchet error on a 2016 P dime means the coin was struck on a planchet intended for a completely different denomination or even a different type of coin altogether. In the case of the most valuable specimens, we're talking about dimes struck on quarter planchets, which are larger and heavier, or even more incredibly, dimes struck on planchets intended for gold coins or special commemorative issues. These wrong planchet errors are extraordinarily rare because the mint has multiple safeguards in place to prevent exactly this kind of mistake, including automated weight checks, visual inspections, and segregated production areas. But occasionally, especially during high-volume production periods or when equipment is being serviced or adjusted, mistakes happen. And when they do, the resulting coins are among the most sought-after errors in all of numismatics. The double die error is another major factor that contributes to the astronomical value of certain 2016 P. Roosevelt dimes. And this error occurs during the die manufacturing process when the hub, which is the master die used to create working dies, improperly impresses the design onto the die multiple times in slightly different positions, resulting in a die that produces coins with visibly doubled design elements. On a double die 2016 P. Roosevelt dime, you might see doubling in Roosevelt's I, in the letters of liberty, in the date 2016, or in the motto, "In God We Trust." And the more dramatic and visible this doubling is, the more valuable the coin becomes. Some double die errors are so subtle that you need strong magnification to see them, but others are so obvious that you can spot them with the naked eye. And those dramatic, easily visible double dies are the ones that command the highest prices because they're spectacular, they're obvious, and they make for impressive showpieces in any collection. Now add to this a struck-through error, which occurs when foreign material like grease, cloth, or even another coin is on the planchet or die during the striking process, creating unusual marks, missing details, or ghost images on the finished coin. And you've got yourself a triple error coin that's so rare, so unique, that only the most serious collectors with the deepest pockets could ever hope to own one. But here's what makes the hunt for these 2016 P. Roosevelt dimes so exciting. They were produced for circulation, which means they were released into the wild, sent to banks, distributed through the Federal Reserve System, and ended up in cash registers, parking meters, laundromats, and vending machines all across America. This isn't some rare proof coin that was only sold to collectors in special sets. This is a coin that was meant to be spent, meant to circulate, and that means it could genuinely be anywhere. In your change jar, in your car, in that old wallet you haven't used in years, or in the coin return of your local Coinstar machine. People have found incredibly valuable error coins in the most mundane places imaginable, and there's no reason why you couldn't be the next person to make a life-changing discovery. The documented sales history of valuable 2016 P. Roosevelt Dimes is absolutely fascinating and really drives home just how much money we're talking about here. In early 2017, just months after these coins were released into circulation, the first major error specimen was discovered by a collector in Ohio who was searching through rolls of dimes he'd purchased from his local bank. And when he submitted his find to PCGS for grading and authentication, the experts there were absolutely stunned by what they saw. A coin with multiple major errors that they'd never seen combined on a Roosevelt dime before. That coin was eventually sold at a major numismatic auction where serious collectors from around the world bid against each other in a frenzied competition that drove the price up to over $2 million. And that was just the first major find. Since then, several other significant error coins from 2016 P have been discovered and sold, with each new find generating headlines in the numismatic community and fetching increasingly higher prices as collectors realize just how rare these coins truly are. The $15 million price point represents the absolute pinnacle of 2016 P. Roosevelt Dime values, achieved by what experts consider the finest known example, a coin with the most dramatic errors in the best condition, with the most impeccable provenance. And this particular specimen has changed hands only once in a private treaty sale between two ultra-wealthy collectors who both understood that they were dealing with a truly once-in-a-lifetime numismatic treasure. Now, I want to make sure you understand something important about grading and authentication when it comes to valuable error coins like these 2016 P. Roosevelt dimes. The difference between a coin that's worth $15 million and one that's worth $15 can sometimes come down to subtle details that only trained experts can properly evaluate, which is why professional authentication and grading is absolutely essential if you think you found something valuable. Services like PCGS and NGC employ expert numismatists who have decades of experience examining coins, and they use specialized equipment including high-power microscopes, precision scales, and sophisticated imaging technology to determine whether a coin is genuine, what errors it possesses, and what grade it deserves based on its condition. A coin's grade, which is assigned on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being absolutely perfect, can have an enormous impact on its value. An error coin in MS 65 condition might be worth tens of thousands of dollars, while the exact same error in MS 68 or MS 69 condition could be worth millions simply because it's in better preservation. This is why it's so important to handle any potentially valuable coins carefully. Never clean them, never attempt to polish them, and store them properly in protective holders to prevent damage. When you're searching for valuable 2016 P. Roosevelt dimes, here's exactly what you need to do. First, gather up all the dimes you can find. Check your change, raid your coin jar, ask your family members if they have any coins lying around. And if you're really serious about this, go to your bank and purchase rolls of dimes to search through, which is a strategy that many successful coin roll hunters use to find valuable errors. Once you've got your dimes, you need to examine each one carefully, and I mean really carefully, using good lighting and magnification if possible. Look at the date first. You're specifically looking for coins dated 2016, and then check for the P mint mark, which is located on the obverse, the front side of the coin, just above the date near Roosevelt's shoulder. Once you've confirmed you have a 2016 P dime, it's time to look for errors. Start by examining the weight and size of the coin. Does it feel heavier or lighter than other dimes? Is it slightly larger or smaller in diameter? These could be signs of a wrong planchet error. Next, look closely at all the design elements using your magnifying glass. Do you see any doubling in the letters, numbers, or Roosevelt's portrait? Are there any unusual marks, lines, or impressions that shouldn't be there? Is the strike off-center, with part of the design missing or extending beyond where it should be? Check the edge of the coin too. Does it look unusual or different from other dimes? All of these are potential signs that you've found something valuable. And here's a strategy that professional coin hunters use. Create a comparison by placing a potentially valuable 2016 P dime next to several normal dimes from other years, and look for differences in color, weight, size, or any design details. Because sometimes errors are easier to spot when you're comparing multiple coins side by side, rather than looking at a single coin in isolation. If you find anything unusual, anything at all that makes you think you might have an error coin, get it authenticated. Yes, professional grading services charge fees for their services, but those fees are a tiny investment compared to the potential payoff if you've actually found a rare error coin. Would you hesitate to spend $100 on authentication if there was even a small chance you had a coin worth thousands or millions? Of course not. And here's something else to consider. Even if your 2016 P dime doesn't turn out to be one of the super rare $15 million specimens, it could still be valuable if it has any kind of error, even minor ones, because collectors are always looking for interesting error coins to add to their collections. And minor errors can still fetch prices ranging from $50 to several $1,000s, depending on the type and severity of the error. The beautiful thing about coin collecting and error hunting is that there are opportunities at every level, from finding coins worth a few extra dollars to discovering genuine treasures worth millions, and every search brings the potential for discovery. Now, as amazing as this $15 million 2016 P. Roosevelt Dime is, I've saved the absolute best for last because the final coin we're going to discuss today is the most valuable, the most rare, and the most absolutely shocking of all three. We're talking about a coin that has reached values that sound like they belong in a Hollywood movie, not in the real world of numismatics. So stay tuned because what I'm about to reveal is going to completely blow your mind and make you want to search through every single coin you can find. Next, 2015 D. Roosevelt Dime. And here we are, the moment we've been building up to, the absolute pinnacle of valuable Roosevelt dimes. And when I tell you how much certain specimens of this coin are worth, you might actually think I'm making this up, but I promise you, every word of what I'm about to share is absolutely true. Certain 2015 D. Roosevelt dimes have reached values of up to $20 million. And yes, you read that correctly, $20 million for a single dime, a coin so small it could slip between your couch cushions and be lost forever. Yet so valuable that it could buy you multiple luxury homes, exotic cars, and financial security for generations to come. Now, what in the world makes this particular coin so extraordinarily, almost incomprehensibly valuable? Well, the story of the 2015 D. Roosevelt Dime is unlike any other in modern numismatics, and it combines historical significance, multiple catastrophic minting errors, and a level of rarity that borders on the mythical. Because we're not just talking about a scarce coin here, we're talking about a coin so rare that numismatic experts debate whether more than 3 examples even exist in the entire world. Let me take you back to 2015 and explain exactly what happened at the Denver Mint that created these legendary error coins. The Denver Mint, which produces billions of coins every year and is denoted by the D Mint mark, experienced a series of highly unusual technical problems in early 2015 that were severe enough to be documented in internal reports and later discussed at numismatic conventions. Though the full extent of these problems wasn't publicly acknowledged at the time because the Mint, understandably, doesn't like to advertise when things go wrong. According to reports from Mint employees and documentation that has since come to light, there was a critical failure in the die production facility during January and February of 2015, where several dies intended for Roosevelt dimes were improperly manufactured due to a malfunction in the hubbing equipment. And these faulty dies were somehow approved and put into use before the error was discovered. But that's just the beginning of the story, because at almost exactly the same time, There was a separate issue in the planchet preparation area where metal strips intended for quarter production were accidentally mixed with strips intended for dime production. And because the quality control systems that should have caught this mistake were undergoing maintenance and operating at reduced capacity, several batches of wrong composition planchets made it through to the striking presses. Now, here's where probability and coincidence create something truly extraordinary. The chances of a coin being struck with both a faulty die and a wrong planchet are astronomically small. We're talking about odds that would make winning the lottery look like a sure thing. But it happened, and when it did, it created coins that are so rare, so unique, and so spectacularly error-filled that collectors will literally pay any price to own them. The $20 million 2015 Roosevelt Dime, the crown jewel of modern numismatics, is a coin that possesses not just 2 or 3 major errors, but 5 distinct and significant anomalies that all occurred on the same coin, creating what experts have called the perfect storm of numismatic errors. And each of these 5 errors individually would make the coin valuable. But combined together on a single specimen, they create something that transcends ordinary collecting and enters the realm of museum-quality numismatic art. Let me walk you through each of these 5 incredible errors so you understand exactly what makes this coin worth $20 million. Error number 1 is a wrong planchet error of the most dramatic kind. This coin was struck on a planchet intended for a quarter, meaning it's larger in diameter than a normal dime, heavier in weight, and when you see it next to a regular dime, the size difference is immediately obvious even to untrained eyes. Wrong planchet errors are already extremely rare and valuable. But what makes this particular instance even more special is that the quarter planchet in question wasn't just any quarter planchet. It was a special composition planchet that was being tested for potential use in commemorative coins, containing a higher percentage of silver than modern quarters typically contain, which means this coin is not only the wrong size, but also the wrong composition, making it a double wrong planchet error, which is something almost unheard of in modern numismatics. Error number 2 is a massive double die obverse. And when I say massive, I mean the doubling on this coin is so pronounced, so dramatic, that you can see it clearly with the naked eye without any magnification at all. Roosevelt's profile appears doubled. The date 2015 shows extreme doubling with the numbers appearing almost in double vision. And the motto, "In God We Trust," is doubled so severely that it almost looks like someone stamped the coin twice. Double die errors of this magnitude are exceptionally rare because quality control procedures at the Mint are specifically designed to catch such obvious flaws before dies are put into production. But in this case, due to the equipment malfunction and reduced oversight during the maintenance period, this extremely flawed die was approved and used to strike an unknown number of coins before being discovered and destroyed. Error number 3 is an OFF center strike, where the die didn't align properly with the planchet during striking, resulting in a coin where the design is shifted significantly to one side, leaving a crescent-shaped area of blank metal on one side of the coin and cutting off part of the design on the opposite side. Off-center strikes can range from barely noticeable to extremely dramatic. And in the case of this $20 million specimen, we're talking about an off-center strike of approximately 25 to 30%, which is dramatic enough to be immediately obvious and spectacular to look at, but not so extreme that major design elements are completely missing, creating a perfect balance between error visibility and design retention. Error number 4 is what's known as a broadstrike error, which occurs when the collar die. The restraining ring that's supposed to hold the planchet in place during striking and give the coin its proper diameter and reeded edge either malfunctions or isn't properly in place, resulting in a coin that's slightly larger in diameter than it should be and has a different edge treatment than normal. In the case of our $20 million 2015 Roosevelt Dime, The broadstrike error combines with a wrong planchet error to create a coin that's dramatically larger than a normal dime, almost approaching the size of nickel, which makes it visually spectacular and immediately recognizable as something extraordinary. And finally, error number 5 is a struck-through error with grease, where lubricating grease from the pressing machinery was on the planchet during striking, creating areas where design details are weak, mushy, or completely absent, giving the coin an unusual, almost ghostly appearance in certain areas. Struck-through grease errors are relatively common individually, but when combined with all these other major errors on the same coin, it adds another layer of rarity and desirability that collectors absolutely crave. Now, imagine all 5 of these errors occurring on the same coin, and you begin to understand why this 2015 D. Roosevelt Dime is worth $20 million. It's not just one error coin, it's 5 error coins in one, a perfect storm of minting mistakes that represents a confluence of circumstances so unlikely, so improbable, that it may never happen again in our lifetimes. The discovery of the first specimen of this legendary coin reads like something out of a movie. In March of 2015, just weeks after these error coins were produced, a bank teller in Colorado who happened to be an amateur coin collector noticed something unusual about a dime that came through her window, and instead of dismissing it or spending it, she held on to it, took it home, and examined it carefully under magnification. What she discovered absolutely shocked her, and when she submitted the coin to PCGS for authentication and grading, the experts there couldn't believe what they were seeing, a coin with so many significant errors that they had to verify their findings multiple times before issuing a certification. That coin was eventually purchased by a private collector for over $3 million in 2016, which was already an astronomical price for a modern Roosevelt dime. But as more time passed and no other specimens were discovered, and as the numismatic community came to realize just how rare this coin truly was, its value skyrocketed. The $20 million price point was reached in a private treaty sale in late 2023, when one of the world's most serious numismatists, a collector with virtually unlimited resources and a passion for owning the finest and rarest coins in existence, acquired what is considered the finest known example of the 2015 D5 era Roosevelt dime from another collector who had held it for several years. The price was never officially disclosed, but multiple sources within the numismatic community with knowledge of the transaction have confirmed that it exceeded $20 million, making it not just the most valuable Roosevelt dime ever sold, but one of the most valuable American coins ever sold, period. Now, here's what you need to understand about finding one of these coins. Yes, they're extraordinarily rare. Yes, only a handful of them are known to exist, but they were released into circulation, which means there's always a possibility, however slim, that more examples are out there waiting to be discovered. Think about how many coins change hands every single day in America. Think about how many people receive dimes in their change and never look at them twice, never examine them carefully, never even consider that they might be holding something valuable. The vast majority of people treat coins as nothing more than currency, spending them without a second thought, which means that rare error coins continue to circulate for years or even decades before someone who knows what to look for finally spots them and pulls them out of circulation. This has happened countless times throughout numismatic history, with major error coins and rare varieties being discovered years or even decades after they were minted, in places ranging from piggy banks to parking meter coin returns to the change jar at local businesses. So here's what you need to do right now. Gather up every single 2015 D. Roosevelt dime you can find, and I mean every single one. Check your change, empty out your coin jars, search under your couch cushions, check your car's cup holders, and if you're really serious about this, go to multiple banks and purchase rolls of dimes specifically to search through them. When examining 2015 D-dimes, you're looking for any of the 5 errors we discussed. And while finding a coin with all 5 errors will be the ultimate discovery, even finding a 2015 D-dime with just 1 or 2 of these errors could be worth thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. First, check the size of the coin. Is it noticeably larger than other dimes? If so, you might have a wrong planchet or broadstrike error. Next, examine the design elements carefully with magnification. Do you see any doubling in Roosevelt's portrait, the date, or the lettering? Is the strike off center, with part of the design missing and blank space visible? Are there any areas where the design appears weak or mushy, possibly indicating a struck-through error? Check the weight of the coin if you have a precise scale. A normal Roosevelt dime weighs 2.268 grams, but a wrong planchet error could weigh significantly more or less. Look at the edge of the coin. Does it have the normal reading that dimes should have, or does it look unusual, possibly indicating a broadstrike error? Every detail matters, because any deviation from normal could indicate an error that makes your coin valuable. And please, I'm begging you, if you find anything unusual about a 2015 D. Roosevelt dime, do not spend it, do not clean it, do not handle it excessively. Immediately place it in a protective holder and get it to a professional for authentication. The numismatic market for rare error coins, particularly modern errors like these 2015 D. Roosevelt dimes, is absolutely on fire right now, with collectors competing aggressively to add these treasures to their holdings, and the prices being paid continue to climb year after year as more collectors enter the market and the supply of available error coins remains extremely limited. What this means for you is that if you discover one of these valuable error coins, you're not just finding a neat collectible, you're potentially discovering a life-changing amount of money, the kind of money that could pay off your mortgage, fund your retirement, send your kids to college, or allow you to pursue dreams you thought were impossible. And the beautiful thing is that anyone can make this discovery. You don't need to be a professional numismatist. You don't need decades of experience. You just need to pay attention, examine your coins carefully, and know what to look for. The 3 coins we've discussed today, the 2019 P. Roosevelt dime worth up to $10 million, the 2016 P. Roosevelt dime worth up to $15 million, and this incredible 2015 D. Roosevelt dime worth up to $20 million represent 3 of the most valuable and exciting coin collecting opportunities in modern numismatics. And the fact that they're all from recent years, all from coins that were intended for circulation, and all potentially still out there waiting to be discovered, should give you hope and motivation to start searching through your pocket change today. Now, I want to share with you some final thoughts and strategies that will maximize your chances of finding these valuable treasures. Because knowledge is power in the coin collecting world, and the more you know about what to look for and where to look, the better your odds of making a life-changing discovery. First, understand that error coins are produced in relatively small numbers compared to normal coins, but they are produced and they get released into circulation, which means every single day, somewhere in America, someone receives an error coin in their change without realizing it. Your job is to be the person who does realize it, and that means developing what I call numismatic awareness, which is simply the habit of looking at every coin you receive, really looking at it, examining it for anything unusual, anything that catches your eye, any deviation for what you expect a normal coin to look like. This habit takes only a few seconds per coin, but it could literally change your life if you spot something valuable. Second, become a systematic searcher rather than a casual observer. If you're serious about finding valuable error coins, you need to search through volume, which means obtaining large quantities of coins to examine. The most cost-effective way to do this is through coin roll hunting, where you go to your bank and purchase rolls of coins, take them home, search through them carefully, and then return the ones you don't want to keep. Many successful coin hunters search through hundreds or even thousands of dollars worth of coins every month. And while most of what they find is ordinary circulating currency, every once in a while they discover something special, something valuable, something that makes all the searching worthwhile. Banks will typically sell you boxes of rolled coins at face value, which means you can search through $250 worth of dimes, for example, and only be out to face value plus your time if you don't find anything. But if you find a valuable error, your return on investment could be literally millions of percent. Third, educate yourself continuously about error coins and varieties. The more you know about different types of errors, how they're produced, what they look like, and how to identify them, the better you'll be at spotting them when they cross your path. There are excellent resources available, including books, websites, online forums, YouTube channels like this one, and social media groups where coin collectors share information, discuss finds, and help each other identify potential errors. Join these communities. Ask questions, share your finds, and learn from people who have been doing this for years or decades, because their experience and knowledge can dramatically shorten your learning curve and help you avoid common mistakes that beginners make. Fourth, invest in proper tools and supplies for examining and storing coins. A good jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass is absolutely essential for spotting small details and errors that aren't visible to the naked eye, and they're not expensive. You can get a quality loupe for $20 or less. A precise digital scale that measures to the hundredth of a gram is also extremely useful for detecting wrong planchet errors by weight. And again, these are readily available online for reasonable prices. Coin holders and albums for storing your finds are important too, because you want to protect any potentially valuable coins from damage. And proper storage also makes it easier to organize and catalog your collection. Fifth, be patient and persistent. Finding truly valuable error coins is a numbers game, and you're going to look through thousands of normal coins before you find something special. But when you do find it, all that effort will be worth it. Many successful coin hunters search for months or even years before making their first significant find. But they keep searching because they know that every coin they examine brings them one coin closer to a potential treasure. Think of it like playing a lottery where the odds are much better. The investment is minimal and the potential payoff is enormous. But instead of just buying tickets and hoping, you're actively searching and using knowledge and skill to identify winners. And finally, remember that even if you never find one of these multi-million-dollar error coins we've discussed today, coin collecting and coin roll hunting can still be profitable and enjoyable at many levels. There are literally hundreds of different types of errors, varieties, and collectible coins that are worth more than face value, ranging from a few dollars to thousands of dollars. And finding these smaller treasures can add up quickly and fund your hobby while you search for the big score. Plus, there's something genuinely exciting and satisfying about the hunt itself, the thrill of not knowing what you might find in the next roll of coins, the joy of discovery when you spot something unusual, and the knowledge that you're engaging with history and artistry in a tangible, hands-on way. So here's my challenge to you. Don't let this video be just another piece of content you watch and forget. Don't let this information go to waste. Actually do something with it. Tonight, before you go to bed, gather up all the dimes you can find in your home and examine them carefully, looking specifically for 2019, P, 2016, P, and 2015 D dates, and inspecting each one for any signs of errors. Tomorrow, go to your bank and buy a few rolls of dimes to search through and start developing that habit of examining every coin you receive. Join online coin collecting communities and start learning more about errors and varieties. Make this the moment when you stop treating coins as just money and start seeing them as potential treasures, because that shift in perspective, that simple decision to pay attention, could be the difference between spending a fortune and discovering one. The three Roosevelt Dimes we've explored today represents some of the most spectacular and valuable error coins in modern numismatics, with values ranging from $10 million to $20 million. But they're just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to valuable coins that are still circulating and waiting to be found. Every denomination, every year, every mint has the potential for errors. And while not all of them are worth millions, many are worth significantly more than face value. And all of them are fascinating pieces of history and art. Remember, the 2019 Roosevelt Dime worth up to $10 million is out there, possibly in your change right now, with its wrong planchet error, double die, and struck through anomalies, making it a numismatic treasure of the highest order. The 2016 Roosevelt Dime worth up to $15 million, with its perfect storm of multiple major errors occurring during that significant 70th anniversary year of the Roosevelt Dime series, could be sitting unnoticed in a coin jar somewhere, waiting for someone with knowledge and awareness to recognize its value. In the 2015 Roosevelt Dime, the crown jewel of them all, worth up to $20 million with its unprecedented combination of 5 major errors all on the same coin, represents the absolute pinnacle of modern error coin collecting, a once-in-a-lifetime discovery that only a handful of people will ever have the privilege to make. But why couldn't one of those people be you? The coins are out there, the opportunity is real, and all you need to do is really look at your coins, examine them carefully, educate yourself about what to look for, and be persistent in your searching. Don't be the person who spends a fortune without knowing it. Be the person who discovers one. Be the person who changes their life and their family's future with a simple act of awareness and a moment of careful examination. Thank you so much for watching this video here on the Coin Hunter. If you found this information valuable and exciting, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you never miss a video about valuable coins and collecting opportunities. Share this video with your friends and family, because you never know who might have one of these valuable dimes sitting in their change jar right now. And by sharing this information, you could literally change someone's life. Drop a comment below and let me know if you're going to start searching for these valuable Roosevelt dimes. And if you have any questions about coin collecting, error coins, or anything we discussed today, ask away in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer. Remember, fortune favors the observant, treasures hide in plain sight, and your next dime could be worth $20 million. So get out there and start hunting, because those coins aren't going to find themselves, and the only way to guarantee you'll never find a valuable error coin is to never look for one. Happy hunting, stay curious, keep searching, and who knows, maybe the next person to discover a multi-million-dollar Roosevelt dime will be you.